Right now it is Ask the Mayor time, and Mayor Nancy Vaughan is with us, and so we have your text questions that are coming in right now.
Great.
So this person is asking, why don't we have more rent based on salary apartments in Greensboro?
That's a great question. We get it quite often. We are not allowed to do that from the North Carolina legislature. They tell us what we can do and what we can't do. And any sort of rent control is just not allowed under our current legislation.
And now there are some cities and some states that do have that rent control, but that is not something
Not
in North Carolina.
Yes.
And we can't supersede that. All right, so this next question is, are there any plans to do paving near Coliseum?
Not around the Coliseum specifically, but some of the roads like Holden Road are on this current paving list. The roads around the Coliseum are in fairly decent shape right now, so we are looking at others that have a higher need.
And I'm sure they can go online too to see where the next projects are.
You absolutely can, and last week or the week before we announced what was being let in this next contract.
All right, so this plan is, are there plans to increase handicap parking in the city? And I'm wondering if that's specifically like in the downtown area that they're asking.
It could be. I know there's been a question about some of the Coliseum venues about adding more handicap parking, and the question about making people like pay to get into the parking lot to get to the handicap parking. That's been under discussion a lot lately. But as far as on-street parking in downtown, we have added some handicapped spots. And then if you're just talking in general, there is a guideline that we follow that determines how many handicap spaces a place has to provide. If the person is interested in a specific spot, send me an email, nancy.vaughan, V-A-U-G-H-A-N, at greensboro-nc.gov, and let me know specifics.
Yeah, because there might be a place where you go all the time that you think to yourself, okay, there's only 2 spots here and it really needs 5 or 6.
Yes.
And you don't know that unless someone says, hey, this is a problem.
Exactly. So feel free to reach out to me and we can look at it.
All right, this person is asking, what is being done to address teen violence and teen gun violence, especially this summer?
So we did hire very recently a violence prevention coordinator who will be working specifically with populations at risk. We have the police chief's 500 job initiative, which was to put teens to work, because if people don't have
something to do?
Yes, they can do things maybe they shouldn't. But so there are over 500 jobs that teens are getting hired for, and the nice part about it is they also get mentors, and they may find a career that they hadn't thought of. We also have, we just at our meeting yesterday talked about parks and recreation, and people can go online. There are a number of camps that they can send their children to if they're expensive. We do offer scholarships. So we are looking for a lot of different ways to make sure that kids have options on what they can do this summer.
Someone is asking about manufacturing businesses, and are there any new manufacturing businesses coming to the southeast side of the city?
Well, we have a lot of growth in the southeast side. When you look at where companies are going, it's going where there is the most land, and right now, southeast. When you talk about manufacturing, I can't point to just one thing that is in the southeast, but Core Technologies is a great company, North Carolina A&T grad, and they do manufacturing. That is a new company. Of course, Toyota is going to do manufacturing. Boom is going to be doing manufacturing. So there are a lot of companies that are coming to Greensboro that are going to be making things. And we are working with the technical colleges and Guilford Works and the school system to make sure that our residents will have the skills to fill those jobs.
This next question is about Gillespie Park site, scheduled to be renovated because of contaminants from old landfill stuff. It says, what are the plans for the homes in that area?
So I know that we're looking at Gillespie Park because it is a historic park and doing some renovations to it. I'm not sure of contamination at Gillespie. I know that we are looking at contamination at Bingham Park, and we are working with the federal government and the state to see if we can get some funding to help us. I am not aware of any homes in those sites that are in jeopardy. If somebody is concerned about their home, again, please feel free to reach out to me and we can address that.
All right, we have about a minute and a half left. How about we do something fun? How about
Okay.
what's happening in Greensboro this summer that might be fun?
Oh, well, beach music is back. Last week was its first week. Instead of being at LeBauer Park, it will be at the Hopper Stadium. That is something new.
Fun.
Music in the park is starting up again. You know, LeBauer Park and Center City Park and Barber Park, they've got events just about every weekend. If there is a festival you want to go to, there is, just look online. Juneteenth will be downtown. It is over 4 days in June. It's a great celebration, a lot of fun. Food truck festivals are really big throughout the summer. Just this past weekend, we had Tabitha Brown, who is an influencer, and she has a contract with Target, and she had a 2-day event in Center City Park. Lots of people were down there. So we have, you know, I always say if you're bored in the city of Greensboro, you gotta check, see if you have a pulse, because there's plenty of things to do, and a lot of them are free.
Okay, all right. We're going to put all of this online so that you can hear the questions, hear the answers, and also get links to all of the fun things that are happening, as well as how to get in touch with Mayor Vaughan if you had one of those extra questions.